So far in this presentation, we have outlined the core functions of the Futocracy approach to organization design and operations. The complexity and varying nature of business dictates that a more detailed introduction and discussion of such an approach cannot be demonstrated in the form of a short presentation. Over the coming weeks, we'll be introducing articles and other media to help inform at a more detailed level. It is also our intention during the first half of 2021 to invite interested parties to an online conference that focuses on organizations of the future, where workshops will be introducing the different elements of Futocracy. Before coming to a conclusion, we will now show you how a process of change or integration can be used to move from a traditional organizational format to that of a Futocratic approach. In this example, the process we show a situation where an organization using the Futocratic approach has purchased a more traditional company and wishes to integrate it into the main parent organization. But this process can also be used to move from an existing hierarchical traditional organization into a Futocratic one. Now, very often when an organization is purchased, it's about developing new skills and new mindsets to expand the type of work that the organization's doing. So for example, if you're in the auto industry and you've focused on traditional internal combustion engine development and so forth, you may then want to buy a company that's more into the electrification of the auto industry as a quick way of developing the skill base in your organization. So you've purchased the organization, and the head of the new organization you've just purchased is either going to join you with the executives, or in some cases may actually leave the organization completely. But the important thing is that the management now start to take on the new form of the level 2 and 3 approach to Futocracy. And in doing so, the purpose alignment teams can start to communicate with each other under the direction of the central head of the organization. And so we have this parallel link, if you like, between two purpose alignment teams. And then as you start to understand how the Futocracy works, you can start experimenting with some teams and set up a minor network weaving operation within the newly acquired organization. And again, learning from the parent partner organization, purpose alignment team and network weavers, you start to understand how the philosophy and the operations of the organization work. But you're still maintaining your overall basic way of working at the moment, with a couple of new approaches being tested. And as you gain the experience and the network weaver starts to develop the connections needed between the teams within the purchased organization and the existing organization, then we can start to look at bringing other teams carrying out other types of work and start to connect them into the network locally, and if necessarily to the parent network. And as over time you get used to this way of working and the network weaver system starts to develop in a much more comprehensive way, the traditional hierarchy is gone, and we're now into a parallel form of Futocracy. Now, some organizations will stay like this. If you remember, for those who listen to Ross about the higher organization where they have micro business enterprises, well, this is a Futocratic form of a sort of a micro business enterprise. And you could run two systems like this that are connected together through the purpose alignment teams and plugged into the executives. But most organizations tend to want to bring the organization into one form. And so over time, this is what you do. And so that you now have this much larger Futocratic organization, and each of the level 1 work teams and functional groups will rise and fall, come and go, depending on the nature of the work and the processes within the organization. So we've looked at this. Organization is based on principles. Collaboration is the underlying business process, and I really cannot emphasize that more than it really is an underlying business process. The purpose alignment team is at the strategic level, which is where management in the past tended to get too involved in day-to-day operations and seem to lose sight of how you work together as a team rather than as silos. And the Futocratic approach would not allow that separation. It has to be at a team level. Effectuation is the preferred approach to work because it has the opportunity to identify different ways of doing things and identifying things that we could miss in a traditional causation approach. Day-to-day decisions are made at the most appropriate position. And this is where the principles of decision making are very important, so that people know in which area they have the opportunity to make decisions and how they can focus those decisions for the benefit of the organization as a whole. The network weaver, as the coordinator, is a very, very important role and will take a very special type of person. And continuous change comes about because of the flexibility of the level 1 work groups.